Deep in the heart of the forest, where the trees stretched tall and the air smelled like blooming flowers and fresh rain, something magical was happening. Spring had arrived. Twinkling lights of fireflies danced between the branches, colorful wildflowers blossomed everywhere, and the forest animals were buzzing with excitement. Monkeys swung from vine to vine, hanging bright ribbons wherever they landed. Toucans were singing from the tree branch,
La 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 la. La 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 la.
while sloths, moving at their usual sleepy speed, tried their best to reach the lights to fix and petals. The forest was alive with giggles, songs, and the sweet scent of new beginnings, but not everyone was feeling the joy. Standing in the middle of the forest, arms crossed and face scrunched up tighter than a dried-up berry, was Chimp, the grumpiest monkey in the forest. He glared at the noisy celebrations, muttering under his breath, "Mumble, grumble, flip, flap." His eye twitched as he watched the craziness around him.
Spring was too rainy, too messy, and way too cheerful.
Blabber, 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 blah, blah.
Just then, a gorilla named Goofy lumbered over, grinning from ear to ear. "Happy spring, Chimp," he boomed, holding out a coconut with unripened banana juice. "Want to be the spring king?" Chimp wrinkled his nose in disgust and stuck out his tongue. "Bleh! No way," he huffed, turning away with a loud flompity-flump fudge. But the forest wouldn't leave him alone. Monkeys threw vines into the air, only to get tangled up in them. A toucan mistook spaghetti moss for fancy garlands and tried to wrap it all around. And worst of all, the forest animals started singing spring songs loudly.
Na 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 na.
It was a noisy, screechy, completely off-key disaster. Chimp clamped his hands over his ears and shouted, "Gus, snort, fizzle pop!" Make it stop. His fur ruffled. His eye twitched. "Wiggle wobble, why me?" he growled. And before he could stop himself, stomp! He slammed his foot on the ground in frustration. The ground shook. The animals froze. The giant tree with decorations wobbled, tilted, and then crash! Lights, food, and decorations flew everywhere. Vines spiraled through the air, and worst of all, a gooey berry cake soared through the forest in slow motion, getting close to smack dab into an unsuspecting porcupine. With a yelp, the poor porcupine bounced around like a pinball and ran. The forest animals gasped. Chimp's eyes went wide. He gulped. Oh, maybe he went too far. For a moment, everything was silent. Then, slowly, the animals turned to look at Chimp. There was no time for oops. The forest's spring celebration was ruined. Decorations were everywhere. The beautiful tree was a-fallen. He didn't want to help, but something inside him, maybe a tiny sprinkle of spring spirit, made him pick up decorations, lights, and hang them back on the tree. Together, they started putting things back in place. It wasn't easy. Chimp ended up tangled in vines and flowers. The sloths took forever to hang one tiny string of glowing moss, and someone handed him a crown made of soggy red hat. No one explained why it was wet. "Groovity grob, gosh darn it," Chimp muttered, but he kept working. Bit by bit, the forest started to bloom beautifully again. Finally, it was time for the last decoration, a sparkling star to top the tree. Goofy lifted Chimp high into the air. "Careful! Careful!" he yelped, clinging to a branch. With one last stretch, He placed the flower at the top. The forest burst into cheers. A giant table filled with jungle food, watermelon, pineapples, coconuts, and a suspicious-looking fish. Chimp and Goofy tried coconut with unripened banana juice. He doesn't smile, but his face shows the tiniest hint slimy taste. Now Gooey asked Chimp to try banana cocoa, holding a steaming cup, the warmth of the drink reflecting in his eyes. The animals cheered. Goofy gave Chimp a big, bone-crushing hug. But just when Chimp thought spring is not bad, suddenly everyone heard a sound of something falling from the tree. Splat! A leftover berry cake fell from the tree and landed right on his head. For a moment, everything stopped. The animals held their breath. Chimp blinked, berry juice dripping down his fur, and then he started to laugh, a real belly-shaking, joy-filled laugh. Zig-zag zonk, this is nuts. The forest erupted into cheers, because in the end, even the grumpiest monkey in the forest couldn't resist the magic of spring.